Hello and welcome to the next episode of my channel where I'll be taking up the lesson The Making of a Scientist. As the name suggests, in this lesson, we are talking about Richard and how he became a scientist with the help of his mother. Now, at the age of 22, it was a great achievement for Richard H. E. Bright and his college roommate because they explained the theory in an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science about how cells work. It was the first time that this important scientific journal had ever published the work of college students. Now, for Richard Bright, it was just the first step or first achievement in his long list of achievements which he was going to have later. Now, let's talk about little bit about Richard Bright's upbringing and life. Richard Bright was the only son of his mother, and just the mother and the son lived in Pennsylvania. He did not have friends, so he was his own company. Okay, because he was alone, he could not play football, baseball because he was just one. For these games, you need a team. So, what did Richard Bright do in his free time? He used to collect things. He used to collect butterflies. He used to collect rocks, fossils, coins. And at night, he used to look at the stars and do star gazing. From the first, he was very inquisitive. He had a bright mind with lots and lots of questions. And to make it better, he had a mother who encouraged him a lot. She used to bring telescopes for him, microscopes, cameras, mounting materials, and everything which was required to increase his scientific curiosity. And she says that she was the only companion of Richard ever. So she used to bring friends home for him. Okay, and he really liked to spend time with her, and she used to spend time with him, advising him, guiding him, just like every kid. Okay, by the time he was in the second grade, Bright had collected all 25 species of butterfly found around his hometown, and he was slowly losing interest in this hobby of collecting butterflies. Just then, his mother got a book called The Travels of Monarch 10. Okay, because it had a kind of competition, it had a kind of task for the readers. Now, this book was written by a particular Dr. Frederick, and at the end of the book, there was a task given to the readers. The readers had to tag the butterflies, and they were meant to be sent to Dr. Frederick Equerhart. Okay, so they had to tag a particular kind of butterfly called monarch butterfly. Now, the butterfly collecting season around this place called Reading lasts only 6 weeks. So what did Ibrahim started doing? He started raising butterflies in his basement. He started breeding them. Okay, and for several years he used to grow butterflies in his basement and then tag them to see where they are found. But eventually he lost interest in them as well, because first of all, it was a very tedious job, and second thing, that out of so many butterflies which he had bred, only 2 could be recaptured, and that too just 75 miles from the place he lived. Now let me explain something. Why were they tagging the butterfly? They were doing this task, they were doing this job in order to find out how far these butterflies could migrate. We are talking about a particular butterfly called the monarch butterfly. But out of so many butterflies which he bred, only 2 butterflies could be recaptured. Now, a very important incident took place in Richard's life when he was in the 7th grade. Okay, that is when it was an eye-opener for him. He understood what real science is. Now, when he participated in the county science fair, he lost. It was a really sad feeling to sit there and not to get anything when everybody else was winning a prize, something or the other. Now, the problem was in this science exhibition, in this science fair, Richard's entry was just a slide of frog tissues. It was a still model, okay, and people just had to see this under a microscope. What he realized that day was that all the winners were doing some kind of real experiments, and they were not just presenting a display of something. So that is when he realized that he needed to come up with a real experiment in order to win. And that day he also realized that the subject he knew the most was insects. So he had to work more on insects in order to win a prize in the fair, first of all, second thing, in order to get a place for himself in this scientific world. So this is the part 1 of the lesson which we are covering right now. In the second part, I'll be taking up the remaining story of Richard E. Bright and how he led to success. Thank you. I hope you have understood.